What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports NBA Hardwood Show. I'm your host, Mangone. I'm here with JSU. There was a rumor he was going to be suspended, but I said that's not allowed. JSU is joining us. I can't do a show without him. He is the key to the show. So JSU, glad to have you, even though you broke the protocols the other day.
Yeah, broke the protocols, but I'm here anyways. I just broke right through. I Superman to the t-shirt and everything, and I'm ready to go. Woo! You got me fired up. And on top of it, Simon, it looks like we want special guests want to join us. Apparently, they want to ruin the Mangone and JSU party, which we were going to hold it down, right, Mangone? But I got a message from K Falik, and him and BigT want to hop on. So Simon, if you want to send them the link.
Oh, we have BigT and K Falik. Oh, you want to see that? Please.
This would be great, but I was expecting to have to, hold it down with Mangone, and me and Mangone would fight about, a bunch of disagreements we had over some of these playoff games that, we'll get to when we talk it up, but it'll be good. We can fight with BigT and K Falik too.
Yep, excited to it. And hey, BigT, he's still not too rich to grace his presence with us. I mean, he just never does.
Maybe after this weekend, he might not even talk to us anymore, Mangone.
Yeah, I don't know what the number is, right? I don't know how many wins it takes, but how
many milli makers does he have to win before he just totally stops talking to us?
I don't know. Hopefully it's a lot, because the man's on fire. Absolutely keeps crushing it. I don't know if Simon has a graphic up for it or anything, but I mean, BigT just absolutely keeps crushing it. Did really great in the Showdown, and that's one thing you'll be getting here at Run Pure Sports. Use that code RPSHeater25. You get 25% off, and you get the Showdown content. And hey, it's awesome stuff. You get to check out what's going on there on the playbook. Get the core plays, and you can get access to BigT and ask him what he's doing for it. I mean, you heard the other day, if you're on the premium show, you heard JSU and BigT basically talk through the process and kind of build out the way they were thinking through of building teams, right? I mean, they didn't give you the full team or anything, but they gave you their thought process, how to handle the slate and take it down. And we had members win. We had BigT win. So it was great to see.
Hold on. And too, I just want to shout out because, we had some members win as well too. Adam Asbury, I think is his name on Twitter. He took down, I think it was just over 12K. And he said, I heard JSU stroking John Morant on the premium show up to lock. And so he had to run out some teams, and he ran some Ja teams out there. He must have captained them, I assume. And he took some money home. And if you were on that show, which I'm glad to have K Falik on, this is a perfect time for K Falik to come on, because if you were on that show, K Falik, what did I specifically say about John Morant and Joe Val? I said everyone is on Joe Val. This may not be a Joe
Val spot. It may be a Jaw spot.
I said everyone's on Joe Val, and John Morant is the better play tonight. John Morant is going to get it done. Even when they put Toscano Anderson on him, Toscano Anderson is a good defender, but he can't stop what Ja does well, which is that friggin' floater that is – it's just unstoppable when it's going in. So – I felt good about, my analysis on that game. I thought I hit it right on the head. And, I'm glad.
The only thing we missed was Jaren Jackson Jr. decided to get foul trouble as well. But the game changed around because of that. Grayson Allen got extra run. Xavier Tillman got some good run. That was the only things that I felt we missed on, but we definitely nailed that this may not be a Joe Val game solely because of either foul trouble or he gets run off the court, which we were right on.
Here's the thing, though, K-Falik. We thought if Joe Val got in foul trouble, it directly would help Jaren Jackson. The problem
which
it
would have if Jaren Jackson decided he didn't want to foul as well.
That was the issue, is we didn't see Jaren Jackson and Joe Val getting into foul trouble. And then Xavier Tillman just absolutely outplaying Jaren Jackson as well, which was the factor as well. It wasn't just he was it wasn't just foul trouble, right? He could have came back in the game. He wasn't fouled out. Joe Val fouled out. Tillman was actually playing so good, they just left him in, and I don't blame them.
I've been saying that Memphis is building for a really good team for the future, and you finally got to see it last night, I think, where they have a little bit of depth, but they also have some studs that can play, and they're young still. Jaren Jackson's only 21, I think. and Tillman, I think, is in 2019 or something like that. So they got some players that are going to be good in the future, I hope. I for those that don't know, I used to live in Memphis for 3 years, and I did not get to really enjoy the youth movement. I got to enjoy the Mark Gasol, Mike Conley, like, we're going to make a playoff run, but we're never going to do anything kind of movement when I was there. So yeah, they're an exciting team. I don't think they matter anymore. Unfortunately, I think they're going to hit real hard in this playoffs, and the games aren't going to matter against Utah. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to say, too, K Falik, total stud. The guy is coming on here. He is at the kitchen table right now. Clearly, I didn't even know this before he's coming on. He's feeding his child as he's talking. I mean, you cannot I'm feeding my kid who has been vomiting for the last 2 days. Yeah. And he's decided that he wants this cereal, which I'm happy to give him because there's nothing that can cause him to vomit out of this cereal. So it just means that I'm not eating this cereal. I got a big bowl of cereal for breakfast for myself, and my son decided that he wants it. So he gets cereal now, and I don't. So hopefully I'm pretty sure I know what's on my lunch menu today, and I'm excited to go pick up my Chick-fil-A and sit and watch him not eat anything again, hopefully for lunch. I just hope he doesn't puke. That's all that's my one goal today is he doesn't puke. Are you like Big T with lunch? Like no one disturbs you during lunch? Like lunch is your time? Like,
no.
Are you like Big T?
No. My wife and I, we get some of those, usually get some healthy meals and stuff like that. She's at work today, so that means I get to choose my meal, and I'm probably going to get Chick-fil-A. Not going to lie. Going to get Chick-fil-A probably.
All right. Well, that's
fine. Out that live final, right? You got the live final, and here he is. We got Big T live from the hotel. You've been dodging me, Big T. I tried to ask for some series bets from you, and it's been crickets. I don't know if you were having too good of a time last night, but how's the event going so far?
Going well. We're live, I'm assuming, right now.
Oh, we are live. We're live. Alex feeding his child live on air. I mean, it's all.
I mean, that's just another day. Like, that's just what he does in his mansion. No, I'm not dodging anything. I'll look right now. What's the prices? Who did you want?
I wanted Atlanta, and I wanted
Mango refused to bet me because he specifically wants to wait and see how much he can get from Big Tony Niehaus before he bets me.
Tony, I'm giving respect back. Last year, we wanted to give you your chance to get the money back. That's all. I mean, I'm letting you get.
How much do you guys take from me? I thought I beat you.
What?
I thought I won. You guys beat me?
Yeah, you had Portland and we had the Lakers. It was like
we had more than one bet.
That was the only bet you made with us. The only one you made.
The whole time? Why were you guys tilting then? I remember you guys tilting, like so sad.
No.
Don't make me get in my archives.
I can go to the PayPal and see the big money sent from Big T very easily. I'll say that. But
who do you want? You want Portland and
I want Portland and I
definitely want Denver, so I definitely want that one.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you wanted the other one mainly.
Portland sucks, so I definitely want Denver. Who's the other one?
Atlanta. Atlanta gets it's basically two of the best playoff series when it comes to like basically being coin flips.
Yeah, I don't know about the other one.
You're saying Atlanta's a coin flip?
It is according to Vegas. It is. I mean, I'm just telling you what the line says. The line.
And who do you want, Mango?
I want Atlanta.
I want New York, actually.
Yeah, I'll take New York.
Yeah, one of those guys can have your guys' action in that one. I don't like that series as much.
I also prefer Portland at this point. With the I hate to say it, Denver was my team at the beginning of the year, but Portland was also my team. I hated that they're playing against each other in the first round. It means that one of my bets is completely dead. I have 2 bets on the Western Conference, and it's Portland and Denver. So
better hope Denver wins because Portland isn't winning no title.
We'll see. I still stand by my pick there with Title. Title and I are still sitting nicely with our bet there. So I'm hoping that
it's going to be sitting nice until it goes in that loser column.
Yeah, and then I got Denver still, I guess, and I'm not sure Denver's got it, but we'll see. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited for that series, to be honest, and just to jump off onto DFS a little bit. That game is going to be just nuts tonight. There's going to be some really interesting plays there that I don't think people realize are going to be as good of plays as they are. I know Tony and I have been talking a little bit this morning about the World Championship tonight, and it's gonna be an interesting one. I think we may see BigT 777 out in full force today, but I'm not sure he's not going to be the only one with that situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, you guys, it's a 6-gamer for you guys, right? It starts with the Nets Celtics game to kick it off.
Yeah. Yep. 2 games tonight. It starts with Brooklyn, Boston. You get the Denver, Portland game, and then you get the 4 games on Sunday. Is the setup. So
I want some title bucks too. He's talking in chat. You guys all love Portland. I'll take all the Denver money. Just title, slide on in. I'll give you some of that bad MMA money back.
Yeah,
you gonna play this MMA slate today, Tony?
Of course I'm gonna play. Yeah. What do you think this
play
is?
Everything.
I didn't know.
This is K Fallick.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
What are you talking about?
I haven't missed an MMA slate since the beginning of COVID. I'm not missing tonight.
No,
I think MMA is secretly might be his favorite sport to play right now.
I've already admitted it. I do. Yeah. Every Saturday I look forward to it.
You like NASCAR too, though. NASCAR's a fun slate
that's
as
Sunday.
Well.
That's why I love the weekends. Saturday MMA.
Hey Tony,
Sunday
tomorrow we got a 10-gamer in Premier League soccer.
Yeah, won't be on that one.
I got 4 tickets. I got 4 tickets in the King of the Pitch, so I'm gonna be
tomorrow too. So you got the basketball farm. I mean, life is good when you're K Fowler.
Yep, I'm gonna win. I think someone did the math. I think I'm gonna win $1,200,000 this weekend.
Be a good weekend.
Guy never enters live finals, and he's
is BigT gonna hold the check for you, K Fallick? If you win?
I am.
He's for sure. I'll tell NPK that BigT's holding the check for me. Yeah. And it can be and make sure he's wearing his Run Pure shirt. Hey, BigT, can you actually tell us, is anybody there with you?
Huh? Yeah.
Did you bring a guest?
Yeah.
I told you, K Fallick.
Amber?
Yeah, my wife's here.
I told you. Do I know
wrong.
BigT or do I know BigT? I told you.
I was wrong.
Woo! We should have bet.
I
knew I was
understand
right,
what
too.
the argument was.
That's a good W for JSU.
I mean, you did crack a joke about Holden's mom, which I loved, and on camera it was great because Holden.
You said it on the show.
Oh yeah, right on the show.
I like that.
Holden's right back and said, "Fuck you, BigT," and red face.
That.
And
that's good mojo.
That's for sure good mojo. And then later in the show, he said, "You know what? Screw it, BigT. I'll give you her number. You could take her. She's a nice lady. You'll have fun." So
I already had it though. I already had the number.
Yeah, you already got the number. You're good. I talked about K Fallick. Me and him were messaging a little bit, and I gave him my perspective on that 6-game slate. I think it's pretty clear the games to target and the games to stay away from. And there are 3 games I think you target and 3 games that you just throw in the trash. So it's pretty clear to me. But we'll talk about this 4-gamer. We can maybe branch out and talk the other games if you guys want to too, but we don't have to.
If we got time, I know K Fallick, we're like 13 minutes in. You're like 3 minutes late to telling us to get onto, the slate because that's what you typically do. That's on brand for you, K Fallick.
I don't know. We yesterday's baseballs, or no, the slate that JSU and BigT talked about with Holden for baseball 2 days ago was probably the longest intro ever. And I just was so happy to see some trolls that decided they wanted to really talk about the fact that the slate wasn't starting. And finally, 30 minutes in, y'all finally started talking about the slate. But then a few minutes in, y'all decided, you know what? Let's go back to talking bullshit again.
How'd it work out for them?
Yeah, it did not work out for those trolls. The 5-minute timeout was probably the best thing that this
I'll tell you right now, the first 30 minutes of that show, I think me and BigT had a lot of fun.
Yes, it was a fun show. I wanted to hop on, but I didn't want to. We got a very clear message from Simon not to mess with the show because we had a new producer in the background. So I was listening very clearly to Simon, who told me, "Do not mess with it. Jared is going to kill you. Not kill you. Jared's going to be upset. Simon lives in Nashville as well. He can figure out where I live, and I would probably die. So I didn't want to take a chance there."
Fair.
I don't remember that one. I guess I may have been out when that was going on, but yesterday baseball didn't go so well for me, but I'm ready to bounce back with some basketball, right? Opened up the slate like last night, wanted to see some pricing, and Man, there's some like crazy price tags on some guys that we definitely have to talk about it. A lot of different ways that you can go on this slate. We will kick it off at first. We'll kick it off with Mr. Giannis, right? That's the first game up. We got him against the Heat. And we got to go to Big T first. I mean, it's playoff time, Tony. Is Giannis going to be worth that price tag? Will he be playing 40 minutes? I mean, I get it. We like to make fun of him and say he can't shoot, but you can make an argument. 40 minutes of Giannis, those are a lot of fantasy points. What are you doing here with these Bucks and Heat?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not playing. First of all, I play all the slates, but I'm not going to play this 4-gamer just because of the championship thing. But if I was playing it, I wouldn't play this game anyways. I wouldn't play Giannis against Miami, worst possible matchup. I almost wish this game was on the slate because some people would play Giannis. I wouldn't. And I mean, the Miami side too, there's just not much there that I would play. I mean, even on the 4-gamer. So I guess Dragic at 4,900 would be a little bit interesting to me in the playoffs, but I can find better spots. I'd rather play the Nuggets guys than Dragic. So, yeah, I mean, this game will be easy for me because I'm not playing the 4-gamer, and I wouldn't play this game even if I was.
Well, here's one question I'll ask you because, again, you may not have opened up this slate and really looked at it because, again, you're not Wi-Fi. Now, what if I told you Jimmy Buckets, 8.4K? Are you intrigued by that price tag?
Yeah, I like that tag for especially playoff Jimmy where he's going to play high minutes as long as the game stays close. It's not like a lock button for me, but yeah, I have some interest in that price. And Bam, too, I see is 83. I don't mind those prices if they fit.
Yeah, and the only other argument against it is, hey, Kawhi Leonard is 8K, which is kind of a crazy price tag.
I definitely wouldn't play him either, but that's a different story.
We'll talk.
I mean, you can play all these. Like, we'll get to the games, but I know it's for the championship slate too. But like the Denver game and the Brooklyn game is so good that I don't want to play pieces from these other games.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, I guess the price tags is what is intrigued me with some of these guys in this game. For sure. We'll go over to you, JSU. Butler, I talked about it. 8-4 tag. You love some Jimmy buckets. And then you got Giannis as a spend up option that you can go to here. I don't see a ton of values that I'm in love with on this slate, but I do think some of these guys at the top, they have some intriguing price tags that you have to consider.
Yeah. So first off, I'm not playing Giannis on this slate. I don't love the match. To be honest, I don't love the matchup. Bam is a tough. Miami's a tough team defensively too. Milwaukee on the other side is a tough team defensively. So from a fantasy standpoint, I don't love spending up for like these 10K guys in these spots. If Jimmy was like in the 9K range, I probably wouldn't even think about him. Since he's 8-4 though, I think he's definitely in play. Same thing with Bam, 8-3. We got to remember last time these teams played, like Bam was one of the key reasons why they won. In a lot of those games, he, out-rebounded Giannis. He out-rebounded pretty much everyone. Like he was key on the boards. He's going to have to do the same thing. He's going to have to play really good defense. He's going to have to own the boards like he did last time these guys faced in the playoffs last year in the bubble. To have a chance to win. And then Jimmy's going to have to make big shots. I think they can do it. That's why I think those two guys are in play. But my problem is that the two later games to me seem like just clearly better games. But I won't say I'm not going to have anyone from this first game. I just think I'm not going to have that much from the first game. So I might play like a Goran Dragic, who is for sure cheap under 5K. Like that's a value tag for Goran Dragic in the playoff. I know he hasn't played that great this season, but you see him under 5K in the playoffs where he could get some more playing time. That's a key point too. The playing time should go up for him a little bit because I think they're going to need his scoring out there. And, other than him, it's like, okay, I could play him with a Jimmy or a Bam, but I'm probably not going to have any lineups where I play like Jimmy and Bam and go like fully stack this game. Because if I play those three guys, I probably want to bring it back with a buck, but I'm not going to play Giannis on this slate. I think Drew Holiday, where is he? 7-7. That's fine. Like, I'm probably not going to pay the price tag. Chris Middleton, he's 8-1. Like, no, thank you. So I like I said, I'm probably going to end up playing maybe one, maybe two Heat at most, and then just moving on from this game. Because again, I think the clear spots are the two later games.
Yep. Here's a question that kind of has to do with that, and I'll ask you, Big T. Should we look at the 4-game slate like a 2-gamer? Good way to approach that in tournaments. I feel like that's something that you would actually advocate for and be like, that's a good strategy, or that's something you maybe have been doing. So I kind of want to get your take on that.
I do it all the time, and I think it's a great strategy. It's worked great. Even if you like plays in the other games, it gets you a different path. And when one of these early games blows out or something, or foul trouble or an injury, or so much can happen that people just look at the projections and go with it. Lots of stuff can happen, and just 2 blowouts early, all of a sudden you're just going to print money with the last 2 games. Yeah, it can go the other way too, and maybe it's how tournament works. Maybe the 2 games later blow out and the 2 early games crush. Can go both ways, but it's all about roster construction. And who knows, maybe you bink an overtime game. Everyone remembers that Utah-Denver game last year at the live final that just went insane. I mean, imagine if you had all those guys in the game stacked, you were going to ship no matter what. The dude that won it last year didn't even have Donovan Mitchell, and he was the leading scorer on the whole slate. So I think you can do a lot of stuff like that. I love doing stuff like that too, because it's a short slate, and sometimes you just fall into the nuts. Maybe there's 2 blowouts in 1 overtime game. By going off the normal roster construction where you play 1 or 2 guys from each game, it just gets you different.
Yeah, listen, I'm totally all for that. Like, I think it's a great way to attack it. And also, like, let's say you're building your team's Big T. Like, let's say it's like, it's 1:45, you got 15 minutes, and you're like not comfortable with your team. You're just you're having trouble finding the sweet spot or the team you like. Don't like randomly be like, okay, I have a 2v2, and like your 2v2 like has Dragic, and like if you like that one better, just take time to figure it out. That's really, I think, a way better way to approach it on these slates. Also, on the flip side, if you're like dead, right? Like, let's say you made a bad play early on, right? And or like you need to play some catch up, and you have chalk in the last game. Switch it up. These are like the best slates to really try and like attack and try to come back. So definitely look to take that approach when kind of building out your teams and sweating all the games. Because I know if you're making teams, you're probably watching the games all day long, so you're able to make adjustments. K-Falic,
you bring up a good point before you get to them though. Like sometimes you're not comfortable with your team and you're like rushed because maybe the lock's in 5 minutes of the first game or second game. Yeah, just don't rush it. If you don't want it, just ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. Reevaluate as the other 2 games come in. Who knows? Maybe you're not comfortable then either, but don't force it in there and lock a guy in. Just wait and make a decision. There's nothing wrong with waiting ever.
Yep. No, never anything wrong unless it's like this, like, perfect 60% chalk guy that you feel like you have to have or something. But again, it's okay to do that. And we do have some news that could come later on in the slate that could matter. It's not huge, but we'll get to it when we get there. K-Falic, I'll go to you. You like to get contrarian at times. It sounds like no one's going to be on this game. Is this something to stack up? What are you doing here with this one?
Yeah, so it's an interesting game because while we talk about the defenses for both teams, we can also look at this as Milwaukee's probably has had some of the highest totals in the league this year. They've had like 260, 270s in some of these games that they've been playing. The challenge is with Miami, you have 2 guys in Butler and Bam that for sure have minutes. They are like set on their minutes, but then you have the rest of the team that splits minutes now more than they did in the playoffs last year. So like Kendrick Nunn was not even a consideration in the playoffs last year, really. I don't think he played much at all. And now you add him into the rotation with Goran, and you add him into the rotation with Tyler Herro and Duncan Robinson and Jimmy Butler, those 5 guys for those 3 spots when Jimmy Butler is going to get the run no matter what. And then you have the same thing with Iggy and Trevor Ariza at power forward. And at center, you have Bam, so it's a tough spot. Milwaukee, I think, could go to a tight rotation. Hi, Leo. Milwaukee could go to a tight rotation, so I don't know what to think there, but I do know that the team that stops and slows down Giannis is Miami. They have the guys that can do it between Bam playing big, and then you have Ariza, Iggy, and even Jimmy Butler to help out. It's the worst situation for Giannis. Which puts me on, if I'm playing anyone, it's Drew tonight or today. because I think that he's the guy that benefits in this type of situation when they need a point guard type of style, because Giannis loses his point guard role in the situation. So the only players I'd consider are Drew Holiday, Bam, Jimmy Butler, and possibly Dragic, but it's tough because you have the rotation, I think, limits Dragic's upside. He's not going to play 35 minutes because Nunn's there now, and Nunn has earned his spot. Nunn is going to get 25 to 30 minutes. So that's my take on the games.
Yeah, again, a tough game to really target too much. Except my favorite play would be Jimmy Butler, and that's the only one that I'm looking at so far. I don't got too much else to say. JSU, give me your final thoughts on this game.
Yeah, my final thoughts are really, I'm trying not to go heavy on this game. The one guy I kind of forgot about that I think if you were stacking up the Heat and you didn't want to spend for an expensive buck on the way back, like Dante DiVincenzo is 5'1", and I think you could run it back with him. He's not like a super exciting play, but to me, it's better than spending up for a Giannis with Jimmy and Bam. Like if you're stacking the Heat, who I think some of those guys are mispriced, there is some value in Jimmy's price tag and Bam's price tag, and then Goran's price tag. Dante DiVincenzo could be a cheap way to bring it back, where he's going to play somewhere between 28 and 32 minutes. So that to me is intriguing. Not the best spot though for these Bucks, which is why I'm kind of staying away from this game personally. If
Budenholzer was smart, he'd play a 7.5 man rotation. I just don't know if he's smart and does that. He like, if he was smart, he'd play the 5 starters, extended minutes plus Bobby Portis, give PJ Tucker 10 minutes, and play like either Connaughton or Bryn Forbes the 20 minutes to back up the guards. I just don't know if he's going to do
both those guys. Is he
going to play him 20 minutes? And if the answer is yes, then it's tough to 15 to 20 minutes with those guys means that Dante and Drew lose minutes, and it's tough. That's why like Budenholzer just doesn't play playoff basketball.
I think it means that their minutes stay where they are. 28 to 30. That's what he's been getting. He's been getting around 28, 29, maybe 30 minutes. Like, I think the minutes stay there. If you're right, though, and he does trim down the rotation, though, his minutes could be 35 in the playoffs. So that's the thing we don't really know.
All right. Well, before we go on, I'd be a bad host if I don't ask the question. Big T, who's winning? Is Giannis going to get bounced in the first round and be embarrassed? I mean, I have to ask the question. I'd be a bad host if I don't.
What's the series price?
It's minus $300 plus 240 Miami Heat.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think Milwaukee wins this year as far as this series, but I like the price again for the Heat. I mean, I'll take the plus 240. If it was like a coin flip, I would probably lean Milwaukee. I do think Milwaukee is a little bit more prepared this year just because of the Drew factor. I mean, Drew is way better, obviously, than a guy like Bledsoe, and Drew just gives them something they didn't have before. I still would definitely take the Heat at that plus number, though.
It's one of those things where I was talking to someone last night about it. I kind of said the value, right? Everyone says, oh, the Heat are the value, which I understand, but I just feel like a donkey betting it. So I'm like, I feel like the Bucks are just going to win. So like, why?
I don't necessarily like it like I did last year either. I loved it last year. I kind of said I'm higher on the Bucks.
Plus 250, by the way, Mangone. Stop trying to trim it down. It's not plus 240. It's plus 250.
Mangone's always working the angles.
Yeah.
No.
He did that on purpose too.
I was using the price from yesterday, and Jason, you're the guy who said, "Oh, you were shocked that the Atlanta was, minus 115, and actually ahead of the Knicks, and the sharp money is on the Hawks."
I am shocked.
So title also just said that the Bucks are, and I didn't even think about this. Jeff Teague's in play as well for the Bucks offense, and it just makes the situation hard. I don't like it makes them hard to play.
We talk about this all the time too, but like in the playoffs, people think they shorten the rotations. That doesn't necessarily mean game one they do. The game one's a lot of time feeling out and different things. They could play different guys. It's not as foolproof as later in the series when it's actually they need to win. Game one, a lot of times, there's more variance, which we need to think about early in a series because you don't really know they don't know what they're going to do a lot of times. They might just experiment with a few things. I could definitely see the rotation, especially for a team like Milwaukee, going a little bit deeper game one.
That's a good point too. Like coaches are going to experiment, see, what kind of works and what doesn't. And we've seen things change completely, like from game 1 to like game 3. Will they try something and it doesn't work out? And so they change it up. And some guy like who is getting run maybe doesn't play in game 3, who is getting like 20 minutes, in game 1 and 2. So that's
this
really
is the best part of the playoffs too. Not to interrupt you, but I don't enjoy game 1s as much as every game after that, because we as DFS pros and analysts or whatever you want to call us get to see what we think happens as the series goes on, and that's where our edge comes in. It's not projections like we always talk about. That's one of the things that Run Pure we do, other places don't. We're not going to just tell you the projections. We're going to tell you this guy's a good play because maybe they want to play bigger for game 2, or they're going to go small for game 3 and stuff like that. That's the edge I think we give you. And we don't really get that in game 1. We do, but not as much as we will as the playoffs and as the series keep going.
Yep, think that makes a lot of sense there. Let's move on to the next game. Before we do that, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe on the video. Helps us out a ton. We got Big T at the live final here. We got K Fallick. He's got live final seats, and he's like feeding his kid while he's here. I mean,
what time is K Fallick's flight today? Is what I'm still wondering. What time he arrived?
He has a hot date with Chick-fil-A. That's what he said. He's going to Chick-fil-A for lunch. That is his choice today. No plane ride for him, it sounds like.
Tony, I know you are disappointed, but there is no one more disappointed than me that I am not able to attend this year. I promise.
I'm more disappointed. If you were more disappointed, you'd be here.
My favorite part about hearing K Fallick talk about the final was he was like, "Oh yeah, they have these things. They have these things. They have whitewater river rafting." And he's like, "I'm actually going on Tuesday though instead."
Yeah, I'm going on. I told you this, Tony. The funniest part is that my wife and I are going on vacation in Asheville, which is 2 hours away from Charlotte, on Monday, and I couldn't get her to say let's go Saturday and Sunday to Charlotte and then drive to Asheville. It was very frustrating, but it just was not going to work.
Yeah. I mean, Joey B in the chat too. Never realized how big Big T's head is on that hat. This is not one peg. That's 2 pegs. That's 2 pegs, Joey.
All right, well, let's move on. Let's talk about the next game. And we're going to go. We got the chart man on the slate, right? We got Kawhi Leonard. Boardman gets paid. Chart man gets paid. We got to talk to K Fallick first about this one. Kawhi Leonard is 8K, K Fallick. 8K on this slate. I'm excited to hear what Big T says, but I think that's way too cheap. I think he's a great play, and it's playoff time. We're not going to have Kawhi resting Paul George. Hopefully there's no dizziness going on tonight. I think Paul George and Kawhi are very strong plays at their price tags. How about you, Chart Man?
Yeah, if this game stays close, then you definitely have a lot of guys in play, and that's the decision you got to make. You got Kawhi, who's definitely in play. And you have to consider Luka even on the other side. If this game stays close, it's gonna be a good environment for this game. So Kawhi at 8K is probably the lowest he's ever been since like pre-San Antonio time, I would say. You don't say. Pat Beverly at 3.3 on this slate is not a terrible play either. Paul George 7.8. Like, all these guys on the Clippers are cheap. The question is, what is their rotation going to be? That's the question you have to continue asking about these guys. Is they are deep. They're a deep team. I think you see Kawhi and PG get every minute they can handle, and then you play around them with the rest of the 3 positions. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in Kawhi and Paul George, and then coming back, you got to be interested in Luka. For sure coming back. Porzingis is 8.1, but I'm not sure he's the right play tonight or today. But I don't see how you play too much value in this game, unfortunately. But yeah, the studs that are probably too cheap are good plays.
You talk about value. Morris in this game is on FanDuel specifically. I think he's like 4.3. I believe on FanDuel. It was a pretty cheap price tag. So that was something that stuck out to me. But the Kawhi and Paul George stuff is the big thing. You can make a case that Luka, he might see some higher ownership because again, he's guard and forward eligible. So helps kind of fill out your roster if you do have the money to go up. But again, it's tight pricing. Not those mid-tier guys, but it's tight pricing in the sense that there's not a lot of value to go to that you feel comfortable about, right? There's some okay value plays.
Oh, I disagree with you. We'll get some good value in a little bit, but
so of course there's that, right? But everyone's going to be on that. It's not like past slates, K-Falic, right? Where we've had the infinite value, right? I think that's the thing I meant to say. I probably worded it.
Thank God we don't have infinite value. Thank God we're finally back to like real DFS slates that take a little strategy and thought. Which is like, what's funny is that usually DK would have this the championship during the regular season, but they were like, we're so sick of this, like who's going to sit out and who's going to play. So they made it for the playoffs, which honestly puts out a pretty lousy product for DK because it's one game at a time. But it's such a better environment where you don't have to worry about these sits due to migraines and shit.
No, I agree. I thought it was a great way to do that for the live final. But yeah, I guess the point I was making, there is good value later on. You're 100%, but 100% right. But it's just not infinite value where like more decisions are going to have to be made. You just can't be like, oh, okay, I'm plug and playing this guy. And it's just all stars and scrub builds and you move on. But JSU, we'll go over to you. How are you handling Kawhi here? How are you handling Paul George? And how are you handling your boy Luka on the other side at the top?
All right, so first off, I have to disagree a little about the value because I think the Clippers price tags, DK is trying to sucker you in by making some of these guys value plays. They're trying to get you off some of the better plays in the next two games by, giving you the 8K Kawhi Leonard, the 7,800 Paul George, even, guys who are going to play like, I don't know if Serge Ibaka is, I'm assuming he's going to start here at 4,500. You got Marcus Morris. You got Pat Beverly at 3.33. I just feel like this is DK trying to sucker people in to get them to roster these Clippers. And I'm not going to go here. I'm going to take a stand with the Clippers and probably end up full fading them. If I were to play one, it would for sure be a value guy. It would be like one of the cheap guys. It wouldn't be one of the expensive guys just because I think that I'm telling you, this is going to pull ownership. These price tags are going to pull ownership. And I'm going to stay with my stance that the last two games are the best two games. And for that reason, I'm probably going to end up fading most of this game, including Luka, even though I do think on this slate, Luka is in play. I think he's a better spend than Giannis. I think, better spend than Tate. I'm just trying to look at this top tier range here. I think he's one of the better spends on the slate. I would rank kind of maybe Harden ahead of him. I'd rank Jokic ahead of him. But he's for sure in play. I just don't think I'm going to stack the Clippers. So if I'm not going to stack the Clippers, probably not going to pay up for Luka. It's just not the route I'm going to go. But you could pay up for Luka. That is my point. But no other Dallas guys are really in play for me. And like I said, I think TK is trying to sucker people in with these price tags, and they will. And if this game blows out, this is, again, we can't predict blowouts. That's not a thing I'm going to sit here and do. But you have to look at all sides of the coin, right? And, there are ways where 8K Kawhi does not get there. Blowout is one of them. So I'm just going to take a stand and move on to the next two games.
Yeah. So are you basically saying that you think one, the game could blow out, and two, you think there's they've gotten a little more healthy now where that they're going to kind of eat into each other a little bit? Is that?
Yeah, no. Yeah. I'm thinking that these guys are going to actually draw ownership solely because of these price tags. The game environment to me is way better in the Boston-Brooklyn game environment, way better in the Portland-Denver game. And that is what I'm targeting on this slate. Two games that I feel like are going to be way better game environments for DFS scoring. That's what I want.
All right, Big T, I'll go to you. It sounds like a game you're not really messing with. Again, you're at the live final. You said you're probably not playing this slate. You're going to focus on your live final. Big T, what are you doing though with this Dallas and Clippers game?
Yeah, so I agree with what JSU was saying, but one of the reasons that I kind of wish this game was on the slate is I think a lot of people would play Kawhi and Paul George, which I wouldn't. There's no way I'm playing them. But, man, one guy that sticks out that I would love – because in this round with every star in the series basically, you're gonna want to play some stars like I always do, and you need value to make that work. And, man, Patrick Beverley at 3,300 is staring at me. Like, I might have to put a team in this 4-game slate just to play him. And Batum, too. I made fun of Batum, but in the playoffs, this is when I wouldn't mind playing him. 3,500 and 3,300 for these two guys. They might not play crazy minutes, but that is such a cheap price tag for guys that can get you in the 20s, which I've talked all year. Like, if they both got 18 today, you'd be huge because of how much stars are on the slate. I love Patrick Beverley, and I like Batum a little bit too. So that's where I'd go in this game. I'm definitely not playing Dallas guys. Definitely not playing Kawhi or Paul George. It would be those cheap guys for me.
That's exactly what I'm saying, though. Pretty much like those would be the only guys I would even look at, and it would just be for value fillers to make my teams. But they're going to get ownership for sure. Like Patrick Beverley is going to get ownership at that price tag.
I don't know if he will.
I mean, if he doesn't, then he's even better play.
Projections always tell you who everyone's going to play because 90% of the people click optimize. He's not projected good, so he's not going to get ownership.
Yeah, but they have to think the minutes are going up here. Like the minutes are going up here.
Maybe now with Rondo, who knows? People might be worried.
Yeah, I think
it's not like he's going to be like 30% or something. He's going to be.
He's not going to be like a 70, 80%.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And he could get you like close to 30, I bet. I mean,
I'm
not saying that's going to happen. But
it's a tough spot. I'm not going to lie. It's a tough spot for these three guards. They're all going to get a lot of minutes. And then you got Paul George, who's for sure the shooting guard. Marcus Morris is going to get 30 minutes at the power forward position. So you got I think that the rotation is going to be tight with those guys. It's going to be, the question is, where does guys like Batum and Kennard fit into here? Like,
Kennard's not going to play.
Not going to play.
Kennard has a nice courtside seat to watch.
Yeah, he's going to be in the first row.
Got that T-Mac treatment when he was with the Spurs.
So Batum, do you think Batum just takes the backup minutes from Morris at the 4, and then you have PG, Kawhi playing 40 minutes, and then you have the rest going to those three guards? I don't think
PG and Kawhi are playing 40 minutes either. I think under.
Yeah,
I would say the flow goes right. Obviously, if it blows out, they could ease off them. But I
don't really think they play 40 even if it's close.
And I think that Pat Bev, honestly, he could easily get you 25. That's not out of the realm of possibility.
I think him and Rondo play 48 between the two of them.
Right. So if you just gave them both 24 minutes, let's say, that's just like a safe, I think, number anyways to give them. And I do think Pat Bev, if he's not in foul trouble, he gets more minutes than Rondo in this spot.
Why is Rondo 4,400 and Beverly's 33? You get the 11.
It's solely the algorithm working there, where Rondo's played more minutes lately and gets the bump. You have the same thing with Reggie Jackson. All three of them. If what I'm hearing y'all saying, all three of them are going to play 24 minutes.
I don't think Reggie Jackson's going to play either, or not much if he does.
He's going to start. He could. I guess he could. Has he been starting, or has Pat Bev been starting?
They're going to go
over Reggie and Rondo in the playoffs.
They're going to go like Pat Bev, Paul George, Kawhi, Marcus Morris, and Ibaka, I would assume. Maybe it's Zubac.
No, Ibaka, I think they'll start Zubac, I think.
You think Zubac? Okay.
Yeah.
For this series, they'll probably go Zubac. I think it makes sense. They just go him. But
they'll slowly bring Serge back and give him. He'll probably get 15-ish minutes today.
You guys
18. Are right though. They do got a lot of dudes. This is why I don't think they're going to play 40 minutes. Paul. They got a lot of veteran guys. They're going to want to get them all a little bit of run.
Yep.
I hate this game. I am glad this game's not on the slate. Get this game out of there.
All right, we'll move on from this one. There's not too much more else to talk about here. I don't want to touch Dallas. I do want to look at some of these Clippers studs, but definitely have to consider it based on the other studs on the slate, which we're getting to. If you guys could, though, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. Again, helps us out a ton over here at Run Pure Sports. We have all the sports content that you need. Listen, we're not just charging for basketball. We're not charging for just MLB. We're giving you everything. We're giving you MMA. We got the truck slate. today. We got Xfinity. We have everything you need over at Run Pure Sports. So use that code RPS Heater 25 to get 25% off your first payment. So guys, please do that for us. Join the movement. We want to have you a part of our team. Also want to mention, subscribe to the podcast, the first look that we have over there at Run Pure at the, on Apple, on Google Play, anywhere you can find it. Go subscribe and check it out. We got DC 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, breaking it all down for you with a ton of different guys, with Uncle T, with Steve Boyton. I can't even name all the people, but we have tons of people giving out content over there. So check that out. Let's move on to the next game, though. Let's talk about it. It's the start of the live final. And JSU, I feel like you like this game a lot, so I'm going to go to you first. It's the Celtics, and it is the Nets. Big game, obviously. Not a lot of defense being played from the Brooklyn Nets. Celtics, they're shorthanded, right? No Jaylen Brown. I believe Time Lord is going to play in this game. I know there's some talks of it being up in the air, but this is a game I think you can make a great case to target JSU. Tell us how you're breaking this down and how you're targeting this one.
Yeah, I mean, so first off, obviously the Nets having all three of their guys back, that does hurt them a little bit. Kyrie has smashed the Celtics all year. He's going to be the one that he's just going to be such a tough cover if they decide to put, depending on where they put Smart. I assume they put Smart on Harden, which makes the most sense to me, but maybe they don't. Either way, though, I think Kyrie is going to get whatever he wants offensively. And James Harden in this series will probably be a lot more passive anyways, because I don't think they're going to need him to just go out there and drop 40 to beat Boston. Like, all these guys can do that. He's he loves to pass anyway. So, he'll be fine if Kyrie's the one, taking a bunch of shots and going at his old team. So I could see a few things here. Kyrie being one guy I could spend up for, Harden being another. I like KD, but I probably will take those two guys over KD in this today. From the Boston side is where it gets real intriguing. I'm not paying 10-1 for Tatum. I think he's going to have a lot of Durant today, which is going to be really tough on him. Boston's going to need these secondary guys, Fournier, Smart, Kemba. Those are the guys that need to step up. I think you could play two of those guys. I wouldn't play all three of them. I think you could play two of those guys here, two out of those three. And then I think you could pair him with someone cheap, like a Robert Williams, who I think for sure is in play if he's expected to play. We're assuming he does play because they're saying he should. I think he should start too, like in this matchup. He is the one guy who Brooklyn will have a tough time, with, especially with him on the boards and him altering shots. He is a good rim protector, and you're going to need it when you got guys like Harden, Kyrie get into the hole. You're going to need someone like Robert Williams, who's young, athletic, runs the floor, can block shots, get rebounds, do everything you need. And he's under 5K, which if he's starting and he gets you like 20 plus minutes starting, I think that's a real value tag. So I like some of these secondary Celtics, and I like pairing them with one of these stud Brooklyn Nets. I think Harden would be 1, Kyrie 2 for me, KD 3 if I had to rank the Brooklyn guys.
Yeah, I mean, we got West Coast Gem in chat saying Tatum is as good as KD. Watch this kid, he's nasty. Listen, don't disrespect KD like that. I love Jason Tatum. KD is incredible. Let's not start disrespecting great players.
Don't even put that much pressure on Jason Tatum. Like, he needs to be as good as KD.
KD's like one of the greatest scorers I feel like I've ever seen. It's just he's amazing at it. So I don't know. I love Tatum. Don't get me wrong. No disrespect to him either, but let's not do that to him.
Tatum just fits the playoffs so well because of his game. Like, his game is like iso ball. Give him the ball, kind of get out of his way, one-on-one. He thinks he's better. I'll tell you right now, Tatum thinks he's probably better than everyone, which is good for him, right? He's going to go at these guys. He doesn't care if it's KD on the other end. I'm just saying KD is not, he's a tough guy to go up to battle against. KD's going to make him work on the defensive end as well, because I assume Tatum will have to deal with him a little as well defensively. Maybe not all game, but some of the game.
Yeah, JSU, so what do you think of, you talked about some of these pieces, right? What do you think of like Kemba at 7.5? That price feels expensive, right? But I do think he's a really interesting tournament play, and I feel like a lot of usage is going to be funneled to him, and I think he's a really strong play in tournaments that might get a little overlooked and has some opportunity to maybe have like a 50 fantasy point game.
Yeah, this is exactly why I said when I was talking about Kemba, Smart, and Fournier, I don't think you can play all three of them. I think you got to choose two because Kemba's price tag is $7,500. If it was cheaper, I think it'd be a little easier to fit some of these guys in. But with them, Smart and Fournier being $6K and Kemba being $7,500, it is a lot, especially with Tatum to ask like for big ceiling games from all of them. But Kemba for sure could be the stud that gets it done. And he's probably going to be lower owned because of that price tag. And it's a 4-game slate. So when I say lower owned, like I don't mean like 2%, but I think he's going to be, decently low owned to the point where he could be a differentiator in your Boston, Brooklyn game stack if that's what you're running out. And I agree with you. He's the first guy I looked at on this Boston team, that I want to play today and fit in my lineups.
Yep, I'm 100% with you. I will say Marcus Smart, 5.7 on FanDuel. So if you're playing over there, pretty interesting price tag on him over there. And then you got the chat thrown up over Evan Fournier. And we'll go to Big T. You said you like this game. It's the start of the live final. At least you implied you like this game. I think you like the one later on more. What are you doing here with the Celtics? And what are you doing here with these net studs?
Yeah, I like this game for sure. And I mean, that's what makes the live final so interesting because these two games are the best games. It's how the whole season's gone, though, and it's been a good season. So we may just go Big T 7-7-7 again and see how it works out because these games are good. And I like them just because it's a live final. I don't need to play it differently than I've played it all year. I like these the most. See what happens. And I mean, this game, so I like Tatum more than I think you guys were leading on. The dude is just, I'm not worried about KD's defense. He's a good defender, but Tatum, as he showed in that last game, is just on a different level right now. I think he's going to be really, really low owned too at 10K just because of the pricing around him, all those guys. I like him. I love Kemba. Kemba is one of the best plays of the slate, I think for sure. He's got a better matchup than Tatum, no matter who guards him, and he should have his way. I could see a 50-point game today for sure. Fantasy point game, I should say. Fournier, I definitely can't play Fournier. I mean, he's just not it for me. I don't need that in this spot. Marcus Smart's probably the most interesting because he looks really good. His price, the matchup, his minutes he's going to play. Man, he's been so terrible, though. He can't make a shot. It's really bad. But Boston's one of the few teams that say they have a chance to win today. I could see them going all out and playing these guys a bunch of minutes and try to steal game one. And their bench guys are just terrible. So I could see them as one of the few teams of this whole slate that shrinks their rotation a ton and really tries to win game one, as long as they don't just get pounded out of the gate, which could happen against Brooklyn. I mean, if they just get rolled at the beginning, they'll obviously won't do this. But if it stays close, I could see all these guys getting run. The interesting part of the Boston side for me is Time Lord because, yeah, on paper he looks like a great play, but I played him the other day. He literally got carted off the court. Like they carried him off basically. I don't know how he can be healthy. Even if he starts, I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all because he looked very injured to me. I know they said he's going to play. He's probable or whatever. Or they think he's going to play. I don't know if he's probable. But I think you can play Tristan off the bench, even if he doesn't start, unowned, trusting that maybe Time Lord's more injured than we think because we know this is the best matchup versus Brooklyn. And Tristan has that game where he can get all the loose ball type rebounds, stick backs, tip dunks. He's going to be completely unowned. And if you somehow fall into Time Lord being injured more than people think, which I think is the case, Tristan could ship this entire slate with like a 15-15 type game or something, which I think is pretty easy. But hopefully they start Time Lord so that everyone wants to play him. I'm not going to play him. I think he's injured. The matchup is great. If he was healthy, he'd be the first guy I clicked. He'd be on both of my teams tonight. He got carried off on that game, 3 days ago, whenever they played now. I don't know how he could possibly be healthy right now. He's not in play for me. The Brooklyn side's interesting too, because you have to think guys like Blake Griffin are going to get more minutes in the playoffs. They're just a veteran. I can't see Claxton playing over Blake Griffin. I just can't see it in the playoffs. They're going to play these veteran guys. He's only 4,400 and Joe Harris is 4,800. And we love the tempo in this game. They're going to try to stop the big three, obviously. I don't hate the cheap prices. You can play the studs, absolutely. I mean, I would rank them Harden, Kyrie, and then Durant, kind of similar to JSU, where Durant's definitely my third favorite of the group. But, man, Harden looks cheap to me at 10-3. I could see triple-double upside. I could see Harden having a big game here to kind of take on the role of creating offense for this team, just to be the kind of the point guard, if you want to call it that, of the offense. But I love this game. I love a lot of pieces. It's just a matter of who you're going to go with.
Yeah, and someone in the chat, AF Cangelo, says, more injured than we think. He was pounding the ground repeatedly the other night, acting like he broke his damn leg. Yeah, that's the point we're getting at. Like, so these are the things projections don't understand sometimes. Sometimes they just you don't know that someone's hurt, right? So if he's hurt and then he doesn't get minutes, those minutes don't get allocated to another player, right? So people are gonna play Robert Williams. Like, they just,
especially if he's starting. Like, they're gonna play him if he starts.
And
I hope he starts.
He's also,
my fear is that Tristan starts. I don't want people to see Tristan starting, because then people will play him.
Robert Williams.
Yeah, but if Tristan starts, then that's clear to me that Robert Williams is actually hurt. Like,
I mean, we know he's hurt though, right? Like,
no, but I mean more hurt, like hurt to the point where I don't think he's in play at all.
Yeah. But I also think that Time Lord is a bad matchup in this spot. He is not the best spot. This is not a good spot for him because he doesn't like going out to the 3-point line. Tristan Thompson at least is more of a power forward center than Robert Williams is. So you're going to see, unless somehow Claxton plays 25 minutes, I don't think Time Lord's good in this spot. And Big T has me. I was all over Claxton this morning when I looked at the first build. I thought he was too cheap. But looking at it further, I think Big T's right that Claxton may be the trap of the World Championship, to be honest. And I'm hoping he is now when I looked at it further, because you have a coaches, and I say coaches because Steve Nash is not the only coach on that team. D'Antoni is definitely like the side guy, and you have coaches that believe in veterans. And that's why they brought the veterans on, is because they didn't think they had the team they needed. So now you're not going to see Claxton getting as much run as I think you've seen potentially. I'm not saying he won't get the run, but I'm saying you could see him playing Jeff Green at the 5, playing Blake Griffin at the 5, and just working your way down with that lineup, and not even Claxton getting a ton of minutes unless they're being inefficient. I think they like Blake Griffin at the 5. I think they like the spread out environment that he creates. I think they like seeing Jeff Green at the 5 as the backup over Claxton if they can as well. So I could see that happening. I don't want to keep on going with the assessment of the game, because I agree with what everybody's saying so far. Is I think Kemba's too cheap. Jason Tatum could be the magnetile issues. I don't disagree with what anybody's saying. There's a lot of good. We already saw the rotation for Boston. It's tight. It's already tight. And I don't see it changing for the playoffs now that just one game. I don't see it changing. So I'm very interested in this game overall.
Can I just say one more thing too? So K Fallick talked about how Robert Williams is not a good matchup. And this is my point, though. It's a contrast of styles. Boston has terrible, like, power forward guys. Not talking about Tatum. I'm talking about, like, Grant Williams, Semi Ojeleye, these other guys where if they go small to try and match, like, I disagree. I don't think Tristan Thompson or Robert Williams, I don't think either of them want to go out and guard Blake Griffin at the 3. I think what they need to be able to show is that they can impose their will on the offensive glass, on the defensive glass, try and dominate the paint, alter shots. If they can do that, that's going to help them. Maybe it forces Brooklyn to go big. Maybe Blake Griffin struggling from the outside or Jeff Green, and maybe they go bigger with Claxton. I think you have to see how the game goes. Claxton, to me, is not safe at all because he could not get any run. But what if Robert Williams or Tristan Thompson starts the game off and they're just dominating the glass? If they're dominating the glass, I guarantee you Brooklyn is going to change something up. They're going to make a swap. They're going to go bigger to match Boston. Boston, the only way Boston wins, in my opinion, a game or two is for them to change that style. Force Brooklyn to go bigger and match Boston. All right, because Brooklyn is way better playing smaller. Brooklyn knows this. That's why they start Blake Griffin and Jeff Green. They're way better doing it. But Boston needs to force them to match their size for them to have a chance in this game. The other thing I think is they need Kemba, Smart, or Fournier. They need two of those guys to have really good games from the field scoring. I'm telling you right now, if you think Boston keeps this game close, two of those three guys are scoring 20-plus points. And if that's the case, two of those three guys are going to be worth their price tags, probably smash their price tags. That's my only point with those three guys. They're going to be the ones that are left open. They're not going to just leave Tatum. They're going to leave Fournier in the corner over Tatum and Kemba. And you know what I mean? They're going to leave Smart. So just from a scheming standpoint, I'm telling you right now, maybe Smart, he sucked. He hasn't looked great, but he's going to get the open threes. The coaches are going to make sure of that. That's how they're scheming it. Just like if you watch last night's game with Ja Morant, what did they do at the end of that game? I think it was before overtime. They forced Ja Morant to give the ball up to Kyle Anderson because Kyle Anderson had the switch on Steph Curry, and you obviously they wanted to attack Steph Curry. They got Steph Curry on Kyle Anderson. That forced the ball into Kyle Anderson's hands on the perimeter, which is what Golden State wanted. And then they ended up collapsing on Kyle when he drove, and it forced the pass to a three-point shooter in Tillman. That's the guy they wanted shooting the whole time. It's a scheme. You have to realize that's how coaches are that's how they're thinking in the playoffs. That thought is not in the regular season. This is the entire game. People don't understand it. This is why playoff basketball is so different than the regular season. And I always say, throw the regular season out, throw what they did in the regular season out. It's not the same. All right. Boston needs to impose their will on the offensive and defensive glass. That means Robert Williams or Tristan Thompson needs to be really good for them to have a chance.
All right. A couple of things we got to talk about. First of all, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We got to get those likes up. We're struggling here. We got 129 with almost 500 of you watching. So let's get that up. Second thing, we have, I got a message from Jeremy. He's in the chat, Jay Burton. He said he wants to stake someone a monthly sub. He's feeling the good mojo today, wants to give a stake out. So, what we're going to do is, respond in the chat. Say if you're not a subscriber, right? Say that you're a new subscriber, and I don't know, should they give it their best basketball take or what they'll do with the sub? Big T, how do you want to handle this? What should the comments say?
Yeah, I mean, we can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
All right, let's say
whatever makes us laugh.
Yeah, make us laugh. Make us have a good time.
Something about K Fallon getting to wherever I'm at right now, Charlotte.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Something about K Fallon making his way to the live final. I will say we've talked a lot of basketball. We should get off the rails for a little bit.
What's K Fallon? This is what I want to know. So when K Fallon plays these two games tonight and he's sitting great going into tomorrow, when am I seeing him tomorrow?
Yeah, I definitely consideration that I'm trying to figure out is what time I'll be
on fire tonight, and you got a chance to ship. There's no way you're not coming.
Yeah,
Hey, Fallon, your name is in first place. I mean, you're not hopping in a car and going.
Well, let me first say there's no chance that I'll be in first place because I will be big. I will be.
How
playing
far
big.
is it, anyways, from you?
Oh, it's far. It's 7 hours or so, I think.
It was like 7 from me. What is it? It's probably the same direction from both.
Yeah, it's just we're basically everywhere we go, Tony, is a triangle almost. You're like the north side, I'm the south side, and we make a triangle anywhere we go. Well, I guess we make a triangle anyways, but it's more of a, what is, I don't know. I'm just going to stop talking about triangles and just say that we're the same distance to everywhere we go. Basically, it feels
Tony's just trying to find a route for K Falik to get his ass to the live final. That's all he's doing. We're talking about routes to winning. He's trying to find a route to K Falik getting there. He wants to root with K Falik.
Yeah.
You know why it's so far from K Falik? There's just miles and miles of just land around him because he's so rich, as the chat was saying. Like, how rich is K Falik? I mean,
he's the only one that does each game from a different room. Like, each game we get to is a different backdrop.
And I unfortunately can't go to the office yet. The kid is very into his Magnetiles right now, so we're not messing with it. Do not mess with a kid with their Magnetiles.
Yeah, I mean, listen, K Falik, I'm pretty good at changing from room to room, but you have really been topping me lately with
yeah, I don't enjoy it, not gonna lie. I'd much rather
Falik hasn't done a room for my workbench like Mangone though.
That is true.
I have not yet because I haven't been invited to your workbench room. Never been invited to your house.
I heard too. Man,
I will say so. There was I will say that I can guarantee you if Tony or I. This is a big week for RPS and a big weekend for RPS users. We got the soccer final is a big deal as well. And there's $100K to first in that one too. So we may have some staking available over the next few days. I guarantee you that if I win, I will not be staking a non-member. So may I suggest that those non-members actually stop freeloading and get yourself in as a member over the next couple of days, because this could be a big couple of days for many of us in RPS, both users. There's a ton of users that are in the final for the soccer and in for the NBA this weekend. So hop on in while you can, and you may get some staking as well. It's going to be some good mojo going on.
Yep, definitely hop on in, and you love to see that. And again, like just when you do say a comment about trying to make us laugh or something, just say you're a new member, and then we'll make sure to hook you up with that sub, courtesy of Jay Burton 18. Again, thanks for that. But let's move on to this last game where there's a lot to talk about here. I'm sure you guys want to discuss it. We'll go to JSU first, Portland and the Nuggets. Big time series here. We got some value too. And we do have some injury news, right? Will Barton out and Austin Rivers questionable, right? And if Austin Rivers sits, I mean, listen, that's a guy that was going to get some run that won't be. And there's some minutes to go around, minutes that are being allocated into other areas already. So I'm excited to see where you guys think this value goes here, because there's guys to look at, right? There's Monte Morris, I think, is in play. Campazzo, I think you can consider him as a value play. You can always say Jokic is a value play just because he always smashes, it feels like, and all the usage is funneled him. Aaron Gordon at 5K, people will make arguments for him being a value play. I don't know exactly how to handle him, but I think he is in the conversation. And then, hey, it's playoff time, and Mike Malone loves himself some veterans, and who's more of a savvy vet than Paul Millsap? There's a ton of guys here that you can look at for cheap. JSU, I'll go to you first, though. Talk to me about this Nugget side, because there's a lot to like.
Yeah, and before I do that, Joey B in the chat was asking about what I meant by how the Nets could go bigger. I was talking about them getting out of their small ball lineup with Blake and Jeff Green, because they're not really centers. I meant like that would give Claxton more run, like trying to match them with someone like that, because Claxton wants to go inside. Blake Griffin and Jeff Green are perimeter. They want to stay outside, and Robert Williams and Tristan Thompson don't want to defend them at the 3-point line. So that was my whole point to that conversation. They want a 5 that they can defend in the paint down low. So that's what I meant. But for this game here with Portland and Denver, I mean, this is another game. There's so many good plays. I'm kind of pissed that the live final pricing and the pricing for Michael Porter Jr. is different, because, man, I saw Michael Porter Jr. 7-4 for the live final in your player pool, and he's 8-2 here. God, I would love to play MPJ at 7-4. I think he's still in play, though, at 8-2, as crazy as that may sound. He, to me, is like, right after Jokic, he is like the first guy I look at. If I don't pay for Jokic, I think I could pay for MPJ, because I think they're going to need him to drop like 30-plus points here in this game. I think they're going to need his offense big time. I think Jokic is going to do what he does. But again, we saw it in the playoffs last year. It was a 2-man game. Like, they needed Jokic and Murray. Murray went off like crazy. Jokic needs that other guy, that second guy, who can drop 30, MPJ is the first guy that comes to mind. I think MPJ is a great play here. After that, though, like Campazzo for in the mid-range is nice. Looking at what do we think of Aaron Gordon? I need Big T's help with Aaron Gordon. Is he going to get more run now that it's like the playoffs? Can we trust that, or is he in and out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm firmly off of Aaron Gordon.
So you don't think he gets more run? Like
I don't really even care if he gets more run because he doesn't have any usage.
He's like a Ben Simmons type, you know. He just plays defense for you and just like
the only way he ever is going to crush is if he literally just falls into so much garbage, like backdoor cut, tip dunk. Yeah. Like he's never going to get plays drawn up for him. He's never. I mean, you're going to have to get really lucky for him to crush.
Maybe that, or it'd have to be like a fast-paced game where like he just is pushing it up and down the floor off of like rebounds, and like he's just feeling.
It's just not. They're not going to play that way though without Jamal.
Of course. So
so then those three, so it's Jokic, MPJ, and Facu that are the three guys that I have the most interest in. You would assume too that if Austin Rivers is questionable, you would assume that he would get a little bit of run. Maybe Monte Morris is back. I don't know what he's going to play for minutes, but he's 3,300. So, I mean, I think the Denver guys are, very good plays here. Portland on the other side, I think Dame is a great play. Norman Powell is 5'7". Yusuf Nurkic, normally I hate playing centers against Jokic. It's like one of my rules, just like Embiid. I just hate playing those ball dominant centers that always have the ball in their hands, because when the ball's in their hands more, it's more likelihood for foul trouble, and just the offense flows through those guys. So it hurts the opposing center because they're always having to deal with them on the defensive end. But Nurkic, for whatever reason, he seems to do decent against Jokic to the point where I'm a little more comfortable if I have to play him, rolling him out there against Jokic. So
you know why he's good against Jokic. You know why he's good against Denver.
Yeah. Oh, I know. They played against
revenge.
No, not revenge. It's because they played against each other in practice for like 2 years. So like that is definitely the reason.
JSU, do not doubt revenge, okay?
I'm disrespecting revenge. Hector, where you at in this chat, all right? I just disrespected revenge. Come at me, all right? I don't give a shit about revenge. I'm talking about real stuff here. Nurkic versus Jokic. It's going to be a fun matchup, too. I can't wait to watch them battle, by the way. But this game is a great game to stack. So many good plays. I'm going to be all over it for fantasy.
Yeah, and speaking of Hector, Big T, do you have your bet yet? Your MMA bet for lunch this week? People maybe want to sweat that out. What's the lunch bet?
I haven't even looked at the MMA yet, so I'll find something for Hector. I got the best of him last week, so we'll see what this week is.
All right, I was curious. So that's the thing I love about Run Pure, right? It's like a great community. We got people betting for lunch. We got people staking others. I mean, it's an awesome time over here at Run Pure. So get in on it, get in that Discord chat and check it out. It's a lot of fun. Again, use that code RPSHeater25 to get 25% off. But Big T will go over to you because these are the Denver Nuggets, and you love yourself some Denver Nuggets. And Portland, it's going to be a good game, right? It's going to be fast paced. It's going to be a close one. What are you doing here with this game?
Yeah, so I think we can find a lot from this game. And the crazy part is I'm going to recommend a guy that I don't usually recommend, but on this slate, we got a ton of studs. Like I said, these cheap price tags, I don't know how many times I can say it, but to find a guy that is 3,600 that is going to play decent minutes and has a 17 to 20 point floor range for this type of price tag, I think is a very nice luxury to have on this slate. Paul Millsap, I never recommend him. He's a veteran. Malone freaking loves him. I mean, just loves him. He's going to play no matter what. And these price tags in this low 3K range, I mean, if you can steal 20 from these 3.5, 3.6K guys, you are going to print. You're going to totally print in the championship today. You're going to print in the 4-game slate today. If you can find it, because the studs are going to do what they do. The studs are going to get there, which means you need to find some cheap guys. And Millsap, I think, safe. And JaMychal Green, I think, safe. And Monte Morris, I think, is safe. They're all in that range, 3-6, 3-5, 3-4. Denver has, I mean, look at their roster. They don't have guys. I mean, they could play. I wouldn't be surprised if Shaq Harrison doesn't play that much unless Rivers is out. I mean, you're talking 7 guys or something. Their rotation is shorter than other teams. People forget it because Denver wasn't playing meaningful games the last week or two. So they don't really understand how short this rotation is. And I think these cheap guys are way too cheap. And Facu, you can throw that in there too, but he's at least 5'2", where I still like him a lot. I'll probably play Facu, but he's at least 5'2", where you can make a case for these other guys. Like Paul Millsap's 3,600, he could get 25 or 28 fantasy points. I wouldn't be surprised against a team like Portland, where I think he matches up good in this spot against guys like Melo.
How many minutes does he get? How many minutes does Green?
In the 20s.
You think? But so how many minutes does? Let's talk through the. And I guess the answer is that they get Jokic minutes of like 8 minutes or 10 minutes as well. But like, what is the breakdown of minutes between Aaron Gordon, MPJ, and then the 2 bench guys? Because we're saying that I think that they have to go small. No matter, like, not small, but I think they can't put Aaron Gordon at the 2 like they've been doing lately, because CJ McCollum's going to run all over him, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this is an Aaron Gordon series. There's no one. He's going to be better in the series where he's got to guard the wings. Portland, you can put these guys on, all these guys that can't shoot. You can put them on Melo, on Covington, on the bigs. I mean, there's a lot of, besides the 2 guards. I mean, I guess Norman Powell too. So the 3 guys like that, like, I don't know. I think they go big. Denver always goes big. Denver never goes small. So it's just what they do. They don't have guards. They can't go small. They don't. I mean, you're just depending on guys that you can't. He's going to depend on Paul Millsap and JaMychal Green more than he depends on Shaq Harrison and Austin Rivers. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. The good part is I don't think there's a ton of risk to it. The guys are just too cheap. I mean, what's the worst case that happens with Paul Millsap for 36? He gets us 13. That's not going to kill us in this thing.
Yeah, I think you're right. The question is, and I want to be clear, I don't think you can play all 3 of them together. Or I don't personally think you should play Paul Millsap and JaMychal Green in a lineup together. Just opinion. Tony may have a different opinion.
That's where I have like a strong opinion the other way, especially in this championship. I think you can treat it as one player almost, 7K. I think you're going to get 35 or 40 or more from these 2 guys. And it's only a 100-man field we're trying to get through. If our studs crush and these guys get us 20 or 15 and in that range, we're going to have a chance. And that's what I want. Maybe that's not fair. In a massive field. I probably wouldn't do it, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Field, we could fall into the
nuts
nuts too. What happens if they play big? And what happens? You can even take it a different direction and say Jokic somehow gets in foul trouble or something. These 2 could totally crush.
I 100% agree with you in regards to our tournament, Tony, but I want to be clear with the 4-gamer that we're talking about. I do think that it may not be the ideal route, because what we can do, Tony, is we can wait for starters. We can sit and see if Austin Rivers is in or out. If Austin Rivers is out, they have no choice but to play bigger. I don't think that they're going to put Shaq Harrison in for more than 10 or 12 minutes anyways. And I don't think Monte Morris is going to play more than 20 to 25 minutes, just because I think they're not going. I don't see coaches throwing a guy out that's been out or injured for weeks and weeks and throwing him out for 35 minutes. So they're going to have to go big, and you could even see Aaron Gordon starting. And at that point, if Aaron Gordon is starting, then that puts them in play.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm just sitting back, relaxing, and loving to see all the Paul Millsap love, right? You guys want to jump on board. He's going to be Big T's workbench play of the day at this point. I mean, you guys are slobbering all over the man, but I'll
tell you what I like with him. Like, seriously, like, click on him. Like, it's crazy how consistent he's been for the price tag. I mean, you look at his last 20, 26, 11, 25, 18, 16, 23, 22, 20, 22. Like, he's basically getting you 20 a night at 3,600, which on this slate, I think is huge with all these studs on the slate.
Yeah, he's a guy that when he's in there, he soaks up usage. He puts the ball up. So if you do fall into the nuts where he gets a lot of run, like you just print. I mean, it's just over.
I
Right?
think he fits good in this series too. Like I like how he matches up. He can guard guys like Melo and Covington in the bigs if he has to. I think he matches up really good in this series.
Well, you just love to see it, Big T. Back on board, Millsap. And one thing I will say, this is like an underrated point. Mike Malone loves to play certain guys. Same with coaches, right? Like you get coaching tendencies. And what does he love to do? He loves to play those veterans, especially a guy like Millsap.
Oh, he loves Millsap. Millsap's his favorite for sure.
And
It's been annoying for years.
You'll be sitting there, like even last series, people were making fun of why is Jeremy Grant getting all this run, all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. It's what the coach wants to do. I mean, we're handicapping what the coach is doing. You're not the head coach, right? So Malone will play his veterans. So I wouldn't sleep on that for sure. We got K Falcon, the kid in the background, having a good time. But I don't know what else we got to say on this Denver game. We didn't talk too much about Portland. Are you guys
let me throw some thoughts on Portland real quick. I think Nurkic is a great play tonight. He's just he is the off there. It's a 3-man offense in my opinion right now, with the other two pieces helping out. You got CJ, Damian Lillard, and Nurkic, and Covington is nicely priced. I don't think Melo sees increased run for those that are asking and saying in chat. I don't see him getting much additional run because he's not. They have an offense right now that they're running. So I'm not sure Melo sees a lot of like additional run. He'll get his regular run that he gets. And I think Portland has some good plays. The question you have to ask is lineup construction with Damian Lillard. And I'm not sure that Damian Lillard's lineup. I'm struggling with the lineup construction, especially for the final with Damian Lillard. Because there are a lot of good guards. Like I think Facu is a great guard play today. And again, I want to wait on the only news that I feel like we absolutely need is Rivers and who is starting for Boston. And after that, I'm able to build pretty easily. And I think that Rivers news and who becomes the starters is probably the most important news on the slate and will affect a lot in this game. So and also on the other way for Portland, if Rivers is out, then you're going to see them focusing on stopping Dame, and CJ McCollum may be a really good play even in a sneaky play if they have to go big and play Aaron. I don't think Aaron Gordon, Paul Millsap, Michael Porter Jr., et cetera, can get close to stopping CJ McCollum in this type of game environment. Is what makes me interested in him. But I think Nurkic is a good play at his price. I don't like him having to guard Jokic and stuff like that, but it's a good spot for sure.
All right. Well, JSU, we got to go to you for the heavy hitting questions. What is your thoughts on Carmelo Anthony revenge? Hector needs to know in the chat. I know you love to talk about revenge.
I specifically didn't bring it up because I didn't want to bring up revenge talk. I didn't want to have to talk about Carmelo Anthony and damn revenge. Personally, I agree with K Fallick that I don't think the minutes bump is there, but I think what he's been getting, you can roster him at that price tag for sure. He's in play. Am I going to play him? I'm not sure yet. And I don't know how I feel about. I definitely don't think JaMychal Green and Paul Millsap are in play together in the lineup. I think you can play one of them. This is something that me and Big T definitely disagree on, and we've always disagreed, where I'm looking for the ceiling game from the guy I choose. So, like, I think one of them.
I think we disagree on what a ceiling is, though. That's where the main disagreement is.
Me and Big T are on this side. I'm with Big T, and you're on the opposite side, JC. I don't mind the double.
But here's the thing, though. If, like, let's just say, for instance, JaMychal Green comes in for Paul Millsap, and JaMychal Green gets two quick fouls, and Paul Millsap has to come back into the game earlier than he should. Paul Millsap is going to see more run than he should have. I'm looking for the guy who, in the end, gets the most run in that same spot. So you can say that's wrong, because if both guys, if one guy gets 30 and one guy gets 20, whatever, it's fine. Like you'll live with it. But what I'm saying is I want the guy who I want to beat out that guy. I want my guy to finish with more fantasy points, have more run, and, double his score or whatever. I mean, just like, that's what I want. You're just saying like, you'll take the fantasy points. If both guys give you, 15 to 25, you'll live and you'll move on. And that's fine. Like, it's just, we disagree on that point. Like, I think that one guy takes away from the other. So I want to pick one and hope my guy ends up being the one that takes away from the other.
All right. One question in the chat. Thoughts on JaVale tonight? Don't play JaVale. He's probably not going to get much run. And then here's another one, Tony. I want to go to you. No Joker today. Someone's asking. We didn't talk too much about him. So what's some thoughts on Joker here, Tony?
Man, so I'm just killing myself over Jokic and Dame because I have strong takes and it's going to go against what I think I should. Jokic has always struggled against Nurkic. I'm so torn up about this because Jokic checks out as the best play on the championship slate with the 6 games. He checks out as the best play. But my knowledge of Jokic and watching the Nuggets every game for 7 years, I just don't like the matchup as much. So I'm really torn up over it because luckily I have 2 teams. So I can probably just play one Jokic and fade on the other and take the easy way out. But I am torn on it because just my general knowledge says to fade him. If I only had one team, I would be just totally torn up about it because the projections definitely disagree with what I think. And I don't know, like that's the way to put it. And then a couple years ago in the playoffs, when this series went 7, I made a ton of money fading Dame every single game because of the way Denver defends him. They just hedge hard on these high screens. They got Facu now who's going to give Dame fits. I think Dame is a terrible matchup too, which brings all these other guys into play. CJ, Powell, basically everyone else on the team because they want to stop Dame. They've proven it. They want to stop Dame. And that's tough. So, all of a sudden, I'm telling you, I love this game, and it's my favorite game maybe, but I hate the 2 best guys. That's where I'm a little uncomfortable with it. But it's just, I don't know. It's where tough decisions come, and it's how you win tournaments because my basketball knowledge kind of disagrees with what other people in the projections will think, which puts me in a tough spot.
That's where I like CJ's. I think, as you said, Composite guarding Dame is going to be a nightmare for Dame. Composite is probably one of the best defenders in the league, and has proven it so far this year. He is a nightmare. He can guard Steph one-on-one better than anybody else can. He's got some really good defensive abilities, which makes me interested in CJ McCollum, especially as I think CJ McCollum is a very interesting play for both of the tournament, both the 4-gamer and the 6-gamer that Big T and I are in, because CJ McCollum's not going to be owned today at all. There is like a 0% chance that he's going to be owned highly, and it allows for a completely different lineup construction as well. Is interesting, and he's going to play 42 minutes. I guarantee you that he will play. Him and Dame are going to play 40 to 42 minutes each. So yeah, I'm sorry for having my kid in my lap right now. As I said, he's sick right now, so him snuggling is probably a good position for him right now. He's not crying. So
we got Chartman and Chartman Jr. I got to know, at what age are you allowed to start playing with the charts? The kids, can they start getting ready to do that? K Fallon.
I don't know. My 4-year-old who's not here right now, the one that's in that picture. He loves doing math already. So I'm already working him through charts by going. He got. I think he's up to 14 plus 14, which is a win. So we're working our way through it on this math family over here.
So the dude in the chat says, "Oh, Facu's not going to stop. He's not going to stop Dame." That's not what I'm saying. You got to compare the studs on the slate versus the other game studs. You got every stud in the NBA is on these slates. So by shutting him down, if he holds him to 40, that's shutting him down. Like the Nuggets have always given Dame troubles. Look at all the past. I mean, they've always defended him good. So yeah, he's not going to hold him to like 20. I'm not saying that, but have you all seen Dame play in the playoffs? Yeah, I've seen him play in the playoffs. He got shut down by this same Nuggets team for almost every time they played. Even when they won in Game 7, he wasn't like amazing versus them.
They're also not going to leave. They're not just going to leave Dame on an island, right? They're gonna hedge on him at times at certain points of the game, right? Obviously, they're not.
Well, that could make Robert Covington a good play.
Yeah.
If you're really thinking
Covington's
about,
always a good play if he can ever make a shot.
Yeah, that's the
Just
question.
a matter
Is
of that.
they're gonna help off if they're gonna help off of anybody, they're gonna help off of Covington. And so the question becomes, can Covington hit his shots today?
And if he hits his shots on FanDuel, by the way, where steals and blocks add up, and everyone always says, "Oh, he gets so lucky with steals and blocks." It's like it's not luck.
That's his game.
82 games where he just gets steals and blocks every time.
This is not in my opinion, this is not an Enes Kanter series. I think he's still going to get run, but if it were me, especially if when they bring in a backup for Jokic. They should be playing. They'll be playing Millsap or Green, and I would keep Kanter off the court and play Covington at the 5, in my opinion, which could impact a few minutes for Melo, but I don't think it does enough. But just thinking about how the rotations could work.
All right. Well, that wraps up the games and discussing it all out and breaking it all down. If you guys want more of our content, we have all of the sports for one price: $80 a month, $20 a week. RPS Heater 25. Use the code to get 25% off. Check it all out. We have all the content that you need this week. And also, if you're into betting, use the code GetBets. You can get the bet side for free for a month with your DFS subscription. I don't know, Tony. I was going to ask this. Should we give I don't want to give the plays of the day because you're doing the live final and everything. I feel like you don't have to do that. K-Falik, you don't have to do it either. So me and JSU can do that. If you, for some reason, decide you want to give a play out in the premium chat, go for it. But you're in the live final. You've done enough. I don't want you to be giving that out. JSU, you go first. Give me your play of the day.
Yeah, well, first off, I want to make sure, Big T, you know that the MMA slate starts at 4 p.m. Eastern time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure because I know.
What's wrong with that?
No, just because I know it doesn't normally start that early, I don't think. And on top of it, I know you don't look at slates until a little later in the day. I was excited
that it started earlier because that's one of the reasons I liked it, because way before the hoop starts.
There's so many slates today; it's gonna be great. Can I give away the sub real quick? I think it's fun. I think it's funny. It's a funny statement. I want to be very clear. I 100% wear the pants in this relationship as well, but we have a nice 50-50 split. Mark Derrick, you are a new sub of RPS. K-Falik needs to put the pants on in his relationship. Go rip it up with Big T. Bad mojo when the wife tells you you're not allowed. I'm pretty sure that was not
50-50 if you're saying it's 50-50, just for the record.
All right. I have a respectful relationship with my wife, who we have good conversations, and the decision was that unfortunately this trip was not going to work out. I think my kids
lost it for the record.
I think Leo is current. I
was just about to say that too, Big T. I was just about to say that means you lost the battle. It's like with Reggie's nuts. Like I lost the battle. Like I just I took the L on that. Like I wasn't winning it. But
I'm pretty sure Leo's currently asleep. So even if I was going to plan on coming on this trip, I guarantee you I would not be on this trip because he is sick as a dog currently. So unfortunately it wouldn't have mattered anyways, but congratulations, Mark Derrick. You are a new sub for the next month on behalf of Jeremy Burton. So,
Mark Derrick always brings good mojo too. I've seen him on Twitter, I think, and in here for a long time. He always brings good mojo.
Yeah, Tony, how's it work? Does he hit up Jeremy? I always forget how.
That's a good question. No, just have him hit the info at Run Pure. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, so hit up info at Run Pure Sports, and we'll get you a code, and then we'll get with Jeremy, and we'll figure out the payment. So just email info at Run Pure Sports. I forgot about this too. Big T, you weren't listening to the show yesterday, so I got to tell you this because I thought it was hilarious. And shout out to Rubio when I tell this story. My girlfriend decided yesterday she wanted. Oh man, go! You know where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah, this is good.
She wanted to go on a picnic. So this is what she tells me. She says, "Hey John, so I found this."
She calls you John.
John.
Yeah.
Not Johnny.
Nope, not Johnny. She said, "Hey, John, I found this place where they set a picnic up for you. They bring the blanket, the food, the area, like everything is set up. It's in this Big T, I was like stunned. I was literally, are you seriously asking me to go on a picnic date with you? Like not even a real picnic either, where like she brings we bring the food in like the basket, like in our blanket. This is like a setup date where like it's an actual
I'd be
place.
so happy to see you there.
I literally looked at her and I was like, she's like, please. And I'm like, I'm sorry, no. I hate saying no to her too. She said please too, twice. She said please twice. I still shut her down. I said, I'll take you anywhere else. I'll take you to like an actual, restaurant or something, but I'm not taking you to a picnic restaurant.
Why do people want to go on a picnic?
I have no idea, but Rubio out there are places where you can actually, get a reservation for an actual picnic and they'll do it for you. Apparently. I can't believe that's a thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, listen, the picnic thing, it's shocking to me, but hey, Rubio loves it. And hey, there's opportunity there out there. There's a business being ran that they're setting up picnics for people, but maybe one day.
What's so hard to understand? This dude on Twitter too, talking tricks, because I shipped FanDuel yesterday for like $50K, the NBA.
Yeah.
This dude on Twitter is just so tilted that I didn't follow the fade list of the playbook I didn't even use because I'm in Charlotte. I didn't make the playbook.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to. I have to look at the fade list to decide who I'm going to play. I don't understand people. Like whoever does the playbook doesn't have to have the same thoughts as everyone else at Run Pure. Different people do different content.
Yeah, I know. They're just idiots, right? I mean, they have an agenda. Like you can tell they're looking for something, right? I mean,
no matter how much good mojo we bring too, like, well, what are you trying to even say? Like, I just don't get it, I guess.
I don't get it either. I mean, yeah, the guy was going at you a bit and it's like, listen, you do a different piece of content, right? Like, I mean, you weren't on that content yesterday. There are days you will be on the content, but what your point is in posting that screenshot.
And right? I have plenty of fades when I do it that have crushed too. Look at football. Tons of times I said, fade this dude and he scores 3 touchdowns and that didn't work out good. But if I do the playbook and I say fades, I guarantee I don't play him then. If I don't do the playbook, how am I supposed to know who does this or that? I'm not even in a normal routine right now. Whatever. I shouldn't have let it bother me.
Who is the fade? The thing that bothers fade?
Grayson Allen, my son's name's Grayson. I can't ever fade a Grayson.
The thing that bothered me the most about it is he doesn't understand, like literally the day before you did a show and I didn't even watch the show. I caught it from other people.
I literally said the whole team that was first place. I won with it.
Yeah, I didn't even watch that show. I was out, and I listened the next day and I heard like the thought process talked about. I saw the members did well. I didn't even hear the show and I knew that it happened. So the guys just clearly
can't even please everyone. I mean, we've done shows since we've opened where I literally say my team every day, every thought. And the one day I'm in Charlotte, don't do any content. And somehow it's my fault for shipping that it wasn't in the playbook.
Yeah, Big T, you're too good at showdowns.
Tony, are you dropping a core for the 6-game slate for the chat? People are looking for it. It's a really big big slate for DK. I think you should drop a core and maybe even say the rest of your player pool for your rest of your guys. So I think the people in chat want to know, not everybody else, not the 98 other opponents you have, just the people in chat.
Paul Millsap.
Who's this guy Ryan Morgan in chat? You guys know who Ryan Morgan is? He said, "Relax, JSU. Your man card doesn't go away at a picnic."
You know who Ryan Morgan is, don't you?
I don't know who Ryan Morgan is. I think Ryan Morgan needs to change his friggin' name because no one knows who Ryan Morgan is.
Ooh, I don't know who he is either.
Big T, who is he? I mean, tell me. I don't know who he is. Change your name.
A couple double takes when I saw the name at first, but I finally have figured it out over time.
Big T, I want to say the only reason I didn't leave out you possibly somehow giving a workbench player core is I know you like the same process, right? Keep the good mojo going. So I wouldn't have been shocked if it happened, but
if I had one that stuck out, I'd give it. I honestly don't know yet.
Yeah, well, no worries. Just ship that live final. We're wishing the best for you two, but we got to do the plays of the day. I was going to let JSU go first, but I tried that. We never got there. I'm going to go first and get it out the way. Kemba Walker, 7.5K. I think he's an amazing tournament option. Good spend up. I think I'm going to be contrarian with it. We'll go with Kemba Walker. JSU, give your play of the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great play. I love Kemba. I'm going to go with, I think this guy, I don't even think I brought him up when we were talking about the game, but I just think everyone is going to play Dame Lillard, and I get why. But man, CJ McCollum is like the perfect pivot that no one's going to be on, I don't think. And we've seen this dude drop like 20 and a quarter. Like, this guy has upside, and, this could be the spot. K. Fallick talked him up a little bit. And I'm in agreement with them. I could see CJ having a big game here, 7,900, which is why maybe some people won't pay for him. But I think on this 4-game slate, he is a really good tournament play, lower owned tournament play.
There you go. That is JSU's play of the day. One last thing before we get here. Hunter goes, don't get so butthurt. When you deal with it every day, it just gets annoying. It's like, and it's like you're transparent as anything, Tony. We do our best to be as transparent as possible.
I don't get tilted about it hardly ever either. I usually just go with it, but this dude just kept pounding away. And you literally cannot be more transparent than we've been. And I know I've been, just to speak for myself, since we've started. You can't be more transparent without literally just showing your team. So I feel like I've done it. So I shouldn't even let it bother me, and I won't.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the block button's for too. If anyone gets annoying, just hit him with that. No worries. But that'll wrap it up for us, guys. Good luck to K. Fallick and Big T in the live final. Hopefully you guys take it down. Good luck to you guys. Good luck to me and JSU. Hopefully we can take down the tournaments that we are in. That'll wrap it up for us, for me, Mangone, JSU, Big T, and the chart man, K. Fallick. See you guys later.